What's up everyone, Mini here with another video on how I build it. In this series today, we will be covering the ZF-6, but before we get into it, a quick reminder, don't forget to like the video, make sure to hit subscribe on the channel to help me keep making great content, and make sure to leave comments down below telling me what ships you want to see next. Now, we will be covering the ZF-6, which is a German Tier 9 premium destroyer. Phenomenal ship, came out of the dockyard last year. One of my favorite destroyers to play because it boasts really good AP coupled with low detection, which makes it a fun ship. And of course, you can't forget the reload boost. First things first, for the commander, I run Luchins on this as it's a premium. Reason for running Luchins is twofold. One, if you're hitting the enemy ships 140 times, which if you farm a single BB and use some main battery reload boosters, you will easily hit. You get the 7.5% lower main battery reload time. Two, you get the resilient talent, which means every time you spot 3 enemy ships, you gain back, in this case, 2700 HP. And on a ship that gets no heal, that can be a real big game changer, especially on a DD that has won me so many fights and allowed me to keep fighting late into games. Now, with Luchins on this, you want to start with your standard 10-point build on almost any DD. Preventative maintenance, especially because he gets the bonus to get it down 45%, along with Last Stand, Survivability Expert, and Concealment Expert. I like to take Consumable Specialist because this gives you quicker reload times on both your main battery reload and your DFAA, which is very nice to have. I also like to take Adrenaline Rush along with what is now known as main battery and AA specialist, though it's still considered BFT for the lower reload time as well as the increase in AA damage. And I personally like to have the AFT or main battery and AA expert to get me that increased firing range. This brings my firing range up to 14.2 kilometers, which does allow me to fire and fight from distance. I like to take this over these two skills for a couple reasons. While having the 1% increase on HE shells causing a fire, you have a 7% chance of causing a fire. So difference between 7 and 8% isn't big enough to make it worthwhile to me. And while I did experiment with the extra heavy ammunition because of the fact that it did increase the AP shell damage, taking the AP shell damage from 2950 up into the about 3370 if I recall correctly, I didn't find that it was as worth to me as having that extra range to fight the battleships at range, play smoke, and have the ability to proc main battery loader. Other skills here aren't really worth in my opinion. RPF is a tempting skill, no doubt, but I don't think it's worth it more than taking main battery and AA expert. And concealment expert is a must because that brings our concealment to a 5.8 kilometers, which is beaten by very few ships. Next up on Luchins, in the equipment, we take the following modules. We take main armaments mod 1, because that's a pretty standard one. You want to keep your torp tubes alive. You have good torps, only 8 kilometers, but this will help keep them alive along with the main battery. Then I take engine room protection. Having every chance to keep our engine being incapacitated is critical on a destroyer. In slot 3, we take aiming systems modification, though there's a strong argument to be made for purchasing the smoke generator modification 1 and having that, but I prefer to have a little bit better dispersion on my shells. Slot 4, of course, is propulsion modification. Being able to get your ship moving quicker is critical, especially when you engage in fights with DDs such as the Groningen, the Friesland, the Haragumo, the Kitakaze, the Jutland, etc. Slot 5, I take concealment system modification because I like to lower that. Once again, because of that and the captain skill, I'm down to 5.8, which gets beat by very few ships. And then in slot 6, I like to take the reload, get that 12% quicker reload time. You do hurt because you lose the traverse speed, but I find this to be worth more than the torpedo tubes or the gunfire control system mod in terms of what I want to do with this ship. Because I play this ship as very much a cap and kill enemy DD style ship. Finally, on the exterior for the camo, there is zero reason to not run the permanent camo. It's your standard 20% cost of ship's post-battle service, 100% XP per battle. I mean, if you're really looking for it, if you don't like the war paint, you can always go with the Type 10 permanent, but I see no reason to run a different one on this unless you're trying to take advantage of Tier 9 premiums having the best economy in the game, and then you want to pop on a stronger camo just to take advantage and get more XP. If I'm playing this in ranked or clan battles, or even if I'm playing this in heavy randoms where I need to win, first off, on combat flags, I typically run India X-Ray along with Juliet Whiskey and Victor Lemur, because that gets my flooding chances up as well as getting me that extra chance of fire. I also like to run November Foxtrot, get those consumables back up a little bit quicker, because remember, you're running that main battery reload, DFAA, and such, so you want those. I like having the extra ship speed in any DD, and of course you never want to detonate. And the two new flags, the smoke generator consumable action time, is really nice, especially if you're not running the smoke generator modification, because it still gives you a nice increase there. And then you also want to run the hydroacoustic consumable action time and the DAAF consumable, because it's worth it to have your defensive air fire available quicker. Economic and special flags, you want to run all of them possible, because of the fact that, like I said, tier 9s have the best economy in the game, and so you want to be earning that boost every single time you're playing them, especially if you're a competent DD player. Anyway, that's how I build it for the ZF-6. Make sure to leave me comments down below telling me your thoughts, how you build out your ZF-6, and giving me some suggestions on what premium ships you'd like to see me cover next in this series. Don't forget to like the video, make sure to subscribe, and as always, this is Minnie, signing off.